China-Vietnam cross-border standard gauge railway connectivity is accelerating, and the quality of Chinese companies' investment in Vietnam is increasingly improving. China-Vietnam relations, like a gorgeous dance, have attracted much attention in recent years. This friendly relationship is like a story full of fascinating magic, like an unfinished plot. In recent years, Vietnam has shown amazing vitality in promoting bilateral exchanges between China and Vietnam. They spare no effort to participate in cooperation in the fields of economy, culture, and education, and have become one of China's important trading partners. Especially in the economic field, Vietnam's openness and tolerance have attracted much attention, and its economic complementarity with China has become increasingly apparent. This open spirit inspires respect and has won high praise from China. As a response to Vietnam's goodwill, China agreed to carry out railway cooperation. This is not a simple agreement, but a high degree of recognition and trust in Vietnam. As a key infrastructure for national economic development, railways are crucial to enhancing the country's economic strength and international influence. This cooperation means closer China-Vietnam relations and also demonstrates the determination of both parties to in-depth cooperation in the future. So, what are the hidden meanings behind the smooth success of China-Vietnam relations? What does China's commitment to Vietnam mean? In this video, let us learn more about it. In the future, China and Vietnam are expected to be connected by 3 standard gauge railways. According to the website of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China, on December 13, 2023, the People's Republic of China and the Socialist Republic of Vietnam issued a joint statement on further deepening and enhancing the comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership and building a strategic China-Vietnam community with a shared future. According to the joint statement, the two sides will promote China-Vietnam cross-border standard gauge railway connectivity, study and promote the construction of the Lao Cai-Hanoi-Haiphong standard gauge railway in Vietnam, and conduct research on the Dong Dang Hanoi, Mong Cai-Halong-Haiphong standard gauge railway in due course. In addition to railway connections, road and air connections between China and Vietnam are also being deepened and deepened. Smooth interconnection between China and Vietnam will further promote the development of investment and trade between China and Vietnam, and the cooperation in the industrial chain and supply chain will become increasingly closer. Since 2016, Vietnam has maintained its status as China's largest trading partner in ASEAN. According to data from the General Administration of Customs, Sino-Vietnam trade has accounted for approximately 25% of China-ASEAN trade in the first 11 months of 2023. According to reports, the economies of China and Vietnam are highly complementary. Vietnam needs China very much in the upstream of the production chain and industrial chain to push the scale of trade to a new level. At present, the cooperation between the two countries in the field of high and new technologies continues to deepen, providing a broader space for economic cooperation between the two countries. The railway connection between China and Vietnam has a history of more than 100 years. As early as 1910, when the world market was forming, a meter-gauge railway known as the Yunnan-Vietnam Railway was built between China's Kunming and Vietnam's Haiphong port. It was also China's earliest cross-border railway channel. This century-old railway is still in service and has a new lease of life. In December 2017, with the joint promotion of the railways, customs, enterprises and other departments of China and Vietnam, The China-Vietnam meter gauge international freight train was launched for the first time in the form of a block train. Starting from Cai-Yuan in China and Haiphong in Vietnam, it passes through China's Mountainside Port and Vietnam's Lao Cai Port, forming a stable transnational train transportation model. Nowadays, the Central Asia trains also rely on the China-Vietnam meter gauge railway to operate. Sulfur ore from the Middle East and Central Asia is transported by freighter to Haiphong port in Vietnam and then enters China, relying on the China-Vietnam meter gauge railway. After being processed into diammonium phosphate, it is then transported back to Haiphong port in Vietnam and transported by sea to various parts of Vietnam and other Southeast Asian countries. However, the track gauge of China's railways is mainly 1,435 mm standard gauge. This is also the most widely used gauge in the world, so it is called standard gauge. The mainstream track gauge in Vietnam is meter gauge, 1,000 mm, so meter gauge trains cannot penetrate deep into China and need to transfer goods. The aforementioned joint statement stated that study and promotion of the construction of Vietnam's Lao Cai-Hanoi-Haiphong standard gauge railway means that this century-old railway will be reconstructed with standard gauge in the future. The China-Vietnam joint statement also stated that research on the Mong Cai-Halong-Haiphong standard gauge railway will be carried out in due course. Mong Cai in Vietnam and Dongxing in China are connected by sea and land and face each other across the river. At present, the high-speed rail has been built to Dongxing. According to reports, on the morning of December 2, 2023, the first trial EMU train of China's Fangchenggang-Dongxing Railway departed from Fangchenggang North Station and headed for Dongxing City Station. This marks that China's first high-speed rail that goes directly to the China-Vietnam border port city has entered the full trial operation stage, and the countdown has begun for the full opening of the operation. In addition to the railway tracks, Hanoi Light Rail Line 2 is also constructed by Chinese companies. It is Vietnam's first urban light rail project and will be open to traffic in November 2021. The entire train journey only takes 23 minutes. So far, it has carried nearly 20 million passengers, greatly saving local residents travel time and greatly alleviating traffic congestion and environmental pollution problems along the route. Improvements in infrastructure promote smoother trade. According to data released by the General Administration of Customs of China on December 12, 2023, bilateral trade between China and Vietnam continues to maintain a good momentum of development. In the first 11 months of 2023, the total import and export value of China-Vietnam goods trade was 1.45 trillion yuan, a year-on-year increase of 3.6%. According to Chinese statistics, bilateral trade between China and Vietnam reached $234.9 billion in 2022. Lu Tonha, Deputy Director of the Market Development Bureau of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development of Vietnam, said that in recent years, China has always been Vietnam's largest export market for agricultural and aquatic products. In July 2022, the General Administration of Customs of China issued an announcement to allow Vietnamese fresh durians that meet the requirements to enter China. Vietnamese durian exports to China have experienced substantial growth, bringing huge business opportunities to Vietnamese fruit farmers. Today, you can often see trucks loaded with Vietnamese durians slowly driving towards the Chinese port on the China-Vietnam highway border. In addition to durian, Vietnamese dragon fruit, bananas, rambutan, Watermelon and other fruits are also very popular in the Chinese market, and the fruit basket of China-Vietnam trade is getting bigger and bigger. In addition to agricultural products, Vietnam's exports of computers, electronic products and parts to China have also increased significantly. Behind this, it is inseparable from the increasing quality of Chinese enterprises' investment in Vietnam. According to statistics from the website of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China, in October 2023, Ambassador to Vietnam Xiong Bo said that in recent years, Chinese companies have significantly increased their investment in Vietnam, and their proportion of foreign investment in Vietnam has increased year by year. From January to September 2023, Chinese companies invested $2.92 billion in Vietnam. It is characterized by increasing investment quality and actively adapting to the needs of Vietnam's economic transformation and upgrading. Investment in high-tech, information and communications, new energy, green development, e-commerce, logistics and other fields has increased significantly with huge potential. The improvement of China-Vietnam relations is not only a bilateral cooperation between the two countries, but also a reflection of regional stability and cooperation. In the current uncertain international environment, the deepening and upgrading of China-Vietnam cooperation is expected to contribute to the overall stability and prosperity of Southeast Asia. This kind of cooperation not only helps to resist the risks that may be caused by some unilateral practices, but also provides an example and guidance for the development of other countries in the region. The cooperation in railway construction between China and Vietnam marks a new height for the relations between the two countries. This is not only the deepening of economic ties, but also the close cooperation between the two countries at the cultural, social, and geopolitical levels. On the basis of this cooperation, both parties are expected to further explore broader areas of cooperation and contribute more to regional stability and prosperity. The relationship between the two countries will continue to develop on the basis of mutual benefit and win-win results, making greater contributions to regional and global peace and prosperity. This new cooperation milestone builds a more solid foundation for future cooperation and brings new hope for cooperation and development in the Asia-Pacific region. The two countries will work hand in hand on the road of common development to inject more vitality and power into the prosperity of the region and the world. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more great content. See you next time.